In 2025, most gamers are looking ahead. The Nintendo Switch 2 has officially launched, promising better graphics, smoother gameplay, and new experiences. But surprisingly, there's still a buzz around the original Nintendo Switch, the one that came out back in 2017. 8 years later, people are still buying it. So the question is simple: is it still worth getting a Nintendo Switch 1 in 2025? You might think it's a silly question. After all, how could a console from 2017 possibly keep up in 2025? But the answer isn't that clear-cut. If you're someone who missed out the first time around, or if the Switch 2 is just too expensive right now, the Switch 1 might still be the right choice depending on what kind of gamer you are. Talk about the biggest factor first, the price. In 2025, the cost of buying a new Switch 1 might surprise you. It hasn't really gone down much. In fact, the price for new models is almost the same as it was years ago. The Switch Lite still goes for around $200. The original Switch is about $300, and the old model sells for $350. That makes the most expensive Switch 1 about $100 cheaper than the entry-level Switch 2. And if you go for the Lite, you're saving $250 compared to the newest console. At first, that sounds like a good deal, and in some ways, it is. But remember, you're still paying almost full price for a console that's 8 years old. That only makes sense if the system still delivers, and in many cases it actually does. For one, many new Switch 1 consoles come bundled with a game that gives you added value right out of the box. And if you're looking in the used market, prices are more flexible. You might find a used standard Switch for around $180, or up to $220 depending on the condition and accessories. Of course, you have to watch out for things like weak batteries, missing docks, or third-party chargers that might smell odd, but even then, you're getting a complete gaming system that still holds up for a lot of people. So why do people still see value in the Switch 1? The answer is simple: the game library. This is one of the most iconic, diverse, and beloved collections of games in modern gaming history. We're talking about The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, just to name a few. All of these games are still playable on the original hardware, and for many players, especially casual gamers, families, and anyone not obsessed with ultra-high frame rates or 4K resolution, the Switch 1 delivers everything they need. It's good enough for classic Nintendo fun, and that's a big reason people still pick one up today. But of course, it's not perfect. For the price you pay, you're getting older hardware. That means longer load times, lower resolution, and no built-in SSD, and then there's the infamous Joy-Con drift, a problem that Nintendo has never fully solved. These issues can add up over time, especially for more serious or tech-savvy players. Still, the price seems fair, not because of the hardware but because of the legendary games it gives you access to. That's the trade-off, and for many it's still worth it. But there's more to consider than just performance and price. What about support? It's true that Switch 1 support is winding down. It no longer gets monthly first-party releases like it used to. However, there are still big-name titles coming, including Metroid Prime 4, a new Pac-Man Legends game, and even a new Rhythm Heaven. Yes, Tomodachi Life is on the list too. While these games won't run at 4,000 or 120 frames per second, they will still offer the core experience, and that's what matters for most fans. So how long will Nintendo continue to support the Switch 1? If we look at history, the answer is longer than you think. After the Switch was released in 2017, the 3DS continued to receive support for a few more years, given the massive success of the Switch 1. With over 150 million consoles sold and around 100 million active users per year, it's very likely Nintendo will keep supporting it for another 2 to 3 years. Nintendo is even making it easier to hand down your old Switch to someone else, whether it's a younger sibling, a friend, or even a pet. Well, maybe not a fish. It's easier than ever to pass on your console. The new virtual game key card system and digital game sharing features work on Switch 1 too, making it a smart, long-term investment even if you're planning to upgrade out now. Let's talk about what you'll miss with the Switch 1. While most games are compatible with both consoles, not everything works the same. For example, the Nintendo Labo VR Kit and other IR sensor-based games don't work with the Switch 2. That means the original Switch still holds a few exclusive experiences, like One-to-Switch and other games that used its unique motion features, and then there's the Joy-Con rumble sound, something you probably haven't thought much about. On the Switch 1, the rumble is louder, and while that might sound annoying, developers actually used that sound creatively. Games like Super Mario Bros. Wonder used it to play music, and holiday titles like Santa Tracker made the Joy-Con sing. The Switch 2's quieter rumble might be more refined, but it loses some of the charm and creativity that the original had. Next, let's break down the hardware and game performance. How well do games actually run on the Switch 1 in 2025? For the most part, first-party games are still solid. Nintendo has always done a good job optimizing their own titles, and most of them run smoothly. If you're not obsessed with frame rate, counters, or pixel-perfect visuals, you probably won't notice much. But even Nintendo's magic can't hide the fact that the hardware is aging. Some newer games are showing visible performance drops. Titles like Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, and Mario and Luigi Brotherhood have frame dips just from basic gameplay. And then there are the rougher releases, like Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, games that launched full of bugs, lag, and rendering issues. They're still playable, but the experience isn't nearly as smooth as it could be. And here's the thing, those exact games run better on the Switch too, and you don't even have to buy them again. If you already own them on Switch 1, they'll just run better on the newer console because of the upgraded hardware. That's worth thinking about if you're planning to invest long term. Still, for most people just getting started, the Switch 1 delivers plenty of fun. It's not the perfect deal anymore, but it's far from a bad one. Then there's the world of third-party games, and here, things get a little shaky. Some ports are excellent. Games like Doom and Doom Eternal are what fans call miracle ports. They took massive, graphically intense titles and somehow made them run well on the old Switch. These games didn't lose content or key features. They just run at lower resolution and frame rate, but they still feel great to play. But not every third-party game gets the same treatment. As of 2025, newer third-party ports are starting to fall behind. Take Hogwarts Legacy, for example. On Switch 2 and other modern platforms, it's a seamless open-world experience. But on the Switch 1, the game is chopped into segments. You have to load into different areas instead of exploring freely, and that completely changes how the game feels. Then there's Fortnite, a live service game that's constantly growing and changing. As each update rolls out, the Switch 1 struggles more and more to keep up. It's buggier, laggier, and more broken than ever before. At some point, it's likely that Fortnite and other similar games will be forced to drop support for the original console. That's the reality of owning aging hardware. But here's some good news. If you decide to get a Switch 1 now and upgrade to a Switch 2 later, you don't have to start from scratch. Your accessories and digital games carry over. The Pro Controller still works, so do joy. Your digital purchases will also transfer over as long as you're logged into your Nintendo account. So even though the Switch 1 is on its way out, Nintendo isn't abandoning it, not yet. The bottom line is this: if you care about cutting specs, lightning-fast load times, or flawless performance, the Switch 1 won't impress you. But if you're looking for a fun, affordable way to jump into Nintendo's world, this console still has a lot to offer. In the next section, we'll go deeper. We'll explore Nintendo's future plans, how the Switch 1 fits into their long-term vision, and whether buying it now is a smart decision or a missed opportunity.